Hello everybody, Jerome Wright here again, and once again you're joining me on my Jerome Wright YouTube channel here on YouTube. In this video, as I begin it, I'm fresh in mind with the thought that in the recent day here, I had a couple people try to direct me in a way to look at other people's materials, referring to geometry and a couple other things, dealing with other people's works, dealing with areas, dealing with space, that of alignment, celestial alignments with Saturn, and about what different meanings are supposed to be relating to. And I was always first and foremost the person that always state that, I was a high school dropout, 10th grade, kicked out of school, and I did go back, however, to get not one but two GEDs. But it's just amazing that that I'm at where I'm at now, and based on finds that people have dedicated their entire lives, 40 plus years. In trying to discover where I'm at now with doing this, and it's just notwithstanding the fact that there's a lot of ideas out there, there's a lot of theories, and some very interesting stuff, mind you, that is brought up. In everything across the board, in science, religion, and all that. But all of them are bridges to nowhere. I'm a very humble individual, but my work is the only work that's available anywhere here in our world that is opening up dimensional doorways to reality and showing you what is there in your face and what is there to be understood. And it all is interlinking. My discoveries, if you look at them, I have 200 plus some videos here, and they all, probably 240, I lost count. They all link back to the same thing. And the reason why I am so successful in all of this is because I am having a true, genuine, paranormal experience and encounter. And my approach to my encounter is that everything that I get comes from within, not from someone else, but from within me. You see what I'm saying? So whatever anybody else has established out there, and based on their theories and their finds, is their material. My material comes from within me, and from genuine feelings and directives that I have that comes from within me. You see what I'm saying? So now, then one person said, well, your videos sound unprofessional, and you should try to see if you can actually try to take it and sprucing them up with a little bit by looking at other people's videos and this, and find you some direction. Now, I have two people told me this now, by the way, and I'm very intelligent people that I do have respect for, and again, I'm at where I'm at right now is because of my approach. My uneducated approach to all of this is what keeps my mind open and allows for things to come in. My unconventional approach to all of this is what keeps my mind open and makes me able to bring to you these amazing videos, which I'm going to bring you another amazing video here. The bottom line is that the reason why no one was successful in decoding our ancient history until I came along is the simple fact that they use the conventional methods, the conventional ideas, and trying to call themselves finding the truth. You just can't do it, because people, what I am bringing to you in my videos defies science, defies reality, and defies religion. So how can you come to me and ask me to go in a conventional way to find what I bring to you now in these amazing videos when it is all unconventional? You just can't do it. All right. I want to bring you a video here. And I'm wondering why I'm seeing numbers. Looks like 521 there. And over here, it appears to be 5. Yeah, it's 521 too here. 521. I wonder if that's the date. 521 AD. This glass must be dated at 521 AD because this is the Canterbury Church in England, I believe it is, Britain. And this is dubbed as the oldest church in that area. And it was created, I believe, in 520 AD, which is actually seems to be the date on that glass here. And it was created or commissioned to be created by something, I believe it or not, Pope Gregory the Great. And this is I guess a Roman inspired church. Okay. As most of these churches are, in my mind, it's stained glass, and I do not know who this figure is. I guess those of you that that like going into and researching these type of things like that in that way, you can take and go and do so. My objective here is to show you, through my multidimensional sense of awareness and my multidimensional sense of being, that I can read things like this and show you exactly what they mean. I open up the doorway for you to go in and grasp the reality as truly what is there. It's my position that all of these things, these images, they reference who mankind genetically is, okay, and where mankind is genetically going. And it's people like this whom have the knowledge, ancient rooted religion and ancient rooted royalty. It's about bloodlines, and that's all that matters. This is bigger than religion. I do notice that whenever I do videos relating to religion, it leaves a deep scar within the minds of people and then within your hearts, because all your life you based your being on a belief system that is covenanted in this stuff. So I understand where we're at when I make these videos and my numbers and YouTube views drop, and that you're probably saying, oh, he's going on that God stuff, I'm out. I mean, I am true to myself. If I'm inspired to create a video like this, then it's here. I don't care. I mean, I could have $1 million at stake and I will still do the same thing, because what matters to me is what I am inspired to do. Okay, so let me go into this video here and tell you where we're at with this. Let me give you a little history first about this. Okay, about this church, because I do have other screens up here. This is the Canterbury. It's the Canterbury Cathedral. Okay. The caption up here says that the Canterbury Cathedral is alive with history and fascinating stories. Oh, I bet so. The information below gives a brief insight into the history of this magnificent building. Saint Augustine, the first Archbishop of Canterbury, arrived on the coast of Kent as a missionary to England in 597 AD. Okay, he came from Rome, sent by Pope Gregory the Great. It is said that Gregory had been struck by the beauty of Anglo slaves. Now that's amazing that a pope was struck by the beauty of Anglo slaves. Now this is the type of shit that I tell y'all that, I mean, the further you go back, the more of reality is there. So what is a pope being struck by the beauty of Anglo slaves? Yeah, you see what I'm saying? So this, I'm telling you, people, is where, I mean, there's something bad going on here. All right. He saw for sale in the city market and dispatched Augustine and some monks to convert them to Christianity. Now, I mean, this is crazy. Augustine was giving, so why does he need beautiful nuns or beautiful Anglo, by the way, people, these are German women, and I'm gonna come up with some stuff here for you in a minute because I have that over here. So in fact, let's go with it, what the Anglo slaves are, and then we'll go back to that. All right, Angles, Latin Angli, were one of the main Germanic peoples who settled in Britain in the post-Roman period. They founded several of the kingdoms of Anglo-Saxon England, and their name is the root of the name England. Okay, the name comes from the district of Angelen, an area located in Baltic shore of what is now Schwarzwald, Holstein in Germany. Okay, so I'm gonna go back now. Let's finish here. Where we at? Okay. He dispatched the Augustines and some monks to convert them to Christianity. Augustine was given a church at Canterbury. St. Martin's, after St. Martin's tours, is still standing today by the local King Eichenberg, who's Queen Bertha of French prison. You see how Christianity and the kings and queens all come together. You see, this is another thing, because now it seems that the two are separated. These two entities, ancient rooted royalty and ancient rooted religion, always share a common place in history of being one and the same, or together in unity. This problem is what I have here, is that these are the same two groups who have these protected bloodlines. Okay, meaning that ancient rooted royalty has their bloodlines and ancient rooted religion has these saved bloodlines based on the fact that through celibacy. But yet they are the same ones that are always coming together, and I'm telling you, which is manipulating mankind's genetic being. In ancient rooted religion, they're talking about the body, the blood of Christ. You know what I mean? The blood of Christ. Okay, and it's always been standing that ancient rooted royalty has these protected bloodlines. So, but anyway, you can read on more of this about this in after the fact. But this church has apparently burnt down, but it dates back and it's been rebuilt. Okay, but the bottom line is that the stained glass in the church, it dates. It was completely rebuilt by the Normans in 1070 following a major fire. But the stained glass dates from the 12th century. That's what it's saying here. Okay, so I'm going to click out of that and go back to the image and start decoding the image for you. Where we at here. And it actually says a Paradox Place, Canterbury. That's what that says. Now, when I clicked onto this image, I was totally looking for something else. And let me tell you how I got to this first. Let me give you the story of how I got to this. Because of Santa Claus. Because I started looking at stuff about Saint Nicholas. And I never even realized that Saint Nick or Santa Claus, because I always called him Santa Claus. And sometimes I did say Saint Nick, but it never struck me until just yesterday that Saint Nicholas is a reference to Christianity. And I didn't even realize it. It just blew me away that it just struck me for the first time yesterday after all of these years of my life that Saint Nick is a reference to Santa Claus and then everything that I am doing. Now, the reason why Santa Claus is in my mind, because a lot of on these shows like the Family Guy and like these Mad TV shows, these cartoon like shows, animated cartoon like shows, like a Mad TV thing. And basically, what is it? The Rick and Morty show, the American Dad, these animated cartoon series, you will see that this Saint Nick or Santa Claus is in there, and there's a lot of things being referenced to relating to blood and killing and Santa having a gun, this, that, and the third. I mean, and this is what opened my mind up to all of this. So when I'm looking for this Saint Nick thing, I went into, and coming into history, I came across this because this cross references with that. So, but I'm going to leave that for another video, the Santa Claus thing, because I've had some very interesting news and discovery about that as well too. Okay, so So, but anyway, oh, and so that links me to a friend of mine who's Chris, who actually turned me on to the Family Guide episode, and which actually indirectly would be responsible for me stumbling onto this. So, but anyway, to make a long story short, this, when you look at this, all you see is beautiful glass. That's it. A beautiful image. I agree. Colorful image. But there's a story there. What is the story that you say? When I first saw this image, I went right into this man and looked. What I first saw I saw first two individuals on this side. I saw a female on this side, and I saw a male on that side. And I mean, out of nowhere, but I don't see their heads, I'm saying to myself, but I saw the bodies. I saw this as an arm, and I saw this as an arm over here. I saw this as the female arm, and I saw this as the male arm. And then I started looking, and I looked at his hand, and his hand is missing here. And I said to myself, I said, there's something to this image. I said, this is killing me. So my mind automatically, almost like a mirroring image, my mind automatically does that automatically. It transfers and flips the image. And I began to see what was starting to unfold here. I can see the body of a woman. This will be her knee area. This will be her back area. She's bent in on the knee of the Pope. His hand here, which is, he's missing the hand part, but his wrist creates her face. And then the book that he's holding, a supposed book, creates a nun cap, which creates a virgin right there, kneeling into him. And his robe comes around her neck, showing you, like in snake way, that he has actually contaminated her. They intermingled genetically. You see, there's her nun cap. You see how it splits up the middle, right where the book would, see that? Look at that, perfect match. And his hand creates her face. She would be kneeling down towards his knee, which implies his crotch area. And this is her back bent over, and this is her arm reaching down, showing you taking blood. But that goes beyond that, because that can be disputed. I'm going to give you something that can't be disputed. Now, I see the guy over here, okay? The same thing, reaching down, okay? And on this side, this is shaped like a penis right there. The tip of this edge right here. And this is shaped like a penis, implying that the male and female bridge between the Pope. Now, it gets better though, people. Hold on. Don't leave me yet. It gets better. So, okay, now, so they're bridged between it. Now, where is his head at? Now, I've seen, I mean, it appears that this guy's whole shoulder comes up here and his head is laid in right here. That's what it seems like, because I see a face, a left eye, a right eye, a nose, right in here, leaned in towards the Pope, right there. Almost like the prodigy child, leaned in. Then, but it gets better. Because now, what is talking about here? This guy, this Pope, or this figure is talking about he's bridged over. These are not just regular, over royalty as well. Where's the royalty? Well, the way his clothes and his legs comes open and his knees are showing, this creates a crown right here. You see that? The band on the crown? And then now the crown showing you that this rock, altered genetics, which represents semen, then down here is balancing where his feet right here are coming over. I'm gonna come back to his feet too. This represents a ball of blood. He's balancing the royal blood and semen line. Now, not only that, this guy is showing that with his feet out, that these represents two nuts, meaning that his semen was added to this cauldron like chemistry right here. You see that? So, basically, to see this, all you have to do is Google stained glass at Canterbury Cathedral, and you'll pick up with what I'm getting at here. Now, you look at this image. Now, that's not enough, because that could be disputed. So now all I have to do is self-verify myself. And this is what is the beauty about my amazing ability to see through this stuff. And I'm going to get to the outside images as well too, people, by the way. Now, what happens here? Well, you have to take this, because I know that there's something that comes before this, because it calls for the likeness of that being right there. So therefore, there's always an animal involved, besides the ape and the mother of creation, which I actually find in all of my discoveries. So his finger is going up, and I noticed immediately that over here I can see almost like, you know what, it seems like a mummy-like person wrapped up, and a black person there with the finger going up, meaning out, black taken out at another point. Now, at this point of this Pope, mind you, that what comes before this, and this is referencing of an Anglo-Saxon people, meaning that what came before, there is a pyramid of what takes place before this. And what this Pope is describing here is that he utilized a civilization, a group of people at a hierarchy, of course, meaning at a higher up level, like a kingship or queenship or royal bloodline, to change himself further away from his ape and African ancestor, not from the closer point of the ape and African, but a further point, which involved the Anglo-Saxon people. I guess that would actually be, if I said that right. So what people would that be? A royal bloodline of India, or Asiatic people, I would imagine, if I'm saying that right. Now, how do I know this? Well, this stands for Canterbury and all of that, and the church there, the cathedral. It comes from a word cathedra, which means seated. So this is why this guy is seated. He's seated in a throne. Cathedra meaning seated. So he's seated in a throne, referencing royalty, a royal bloodline. Which royal bloodline is he referencing? Well, he's in an ark here, which is a representation from that of Rome. And he's covered in it in a bloodline, a royal bloodline. The royal bloodline is signified by the animal that's being shown. And the animal is right there with him, larger than life. Which animal is that? Well, you see this band right here? This band separates the forehead of an elephant. A ceremonial dressed elephant. The elephant's head comes down, and where this woman's arm is, the elephant's tusk is one with the woman's, the left tusk of the elephant. Where the man arm is over here, it creates the right tusk of the elephant, and then the tusk comes down and bend around. And you know what's amazing about this is that this ceremonial elephant even has those red couplers, which represents the blood. You see that? The blood bars on the elephant's tusk, and then the tusk come down. Now, in case of you guys not realizing what all of that means, let me show you something what a ceremonial elephant can you see that? Oh God. gosh. You see that? Now, I'm going to turn another... Oh, no, I can't turn that light on because it might... Oh, I'm going to turn this way. Let me see if that'll give me more light. You see that ceremonial elephant? You see that crown up there on the elephants right there? That is a symbolization of what is here, right there. You see these bands on the elephant's tusk? Those bands are a symbolization. If you Google ceremonial elephants, you will see those bands on the tusk as they appear there on that image. You see, people, this Pope-like figure is sitting. He's telling you that he's covenant with the genetics that comes from the history behind that symbolization, which I know as well. Now, it's amazing because he's telling me that he now has the genes that was created by a process that came before him through those people from a higher up level of kingship and queenship, royal bloodlines. And through each continent, through a group of people that we are, well, we're separated, of course. These messages can be read loud and clear because of each civilization of people. There are similar messages. If you look even closer, you look at the collar that he's wearing. There is an image of an ape. You start looking down in the sleeves down here and here. There's an image of a woman, a witch-like woman, who I dub as the mother of creation there. And you start looking around, you'll see innuendos, which represents the bloodline which he brings to the table. See, people, this is much larger than religion. This is about bloodlines. Now, you know, it's amazing how people get offended when they feel as though that I'm walking upon their religious beliefs and their religious values. Well, people, this stuff is beyond you. You are a sacrifice. You are nothing more than just a sacrifice. Because see, if your eyes is not open to this, it means that you are in the dark about this. So therefore, if you do not know what it is that is going on in the first place, then you are outside the circle. You are not in. The only people that benefit from this are those that know, which is ancient rooted religion and ancient rooted royalty. Everybody else is in the dark. And when you're in the dark, you know what that means. You're asked out. So it's amazing, though, that these people have gotten away with this for so long. And when you have the minds of so many that are so bright, that realize that something is wrong, but do not challenge it. And then you have somebody that comes along like me with a 10th grade education and pull reality out of this. Something that came long before me. Long before me. And yet I can bring you. This image has been, this church being built in 5 something AD. That I can come along after so many people then stared at this image. And here you are today in 2014 with the guy that dropped out of school in, oh gosh, in 10th grade, bringing you something through what he has described in himself as a paranormal experience and encounter, and has brought you 240 plus amazing videos relating to all of the same thing and telling you that it's based on different historical moments and times where animals, in this case there's an elephant, were utilized to alter the genetics of mankind's being from their original origins of state which is a pyramid, which comes from the ape and African ancestor through the Asian people, through all European and Caucasian people. And it's showing you how it was done. A genetic blueprint, if you will, of a holy grail of a genetic bloodline. Now, what is being stated here? Well, here you see a figure, a pauper-like figure. He's carrying a bag with a stick over his shoulder. Well, can you see that? The bag with the stick over his shoulder? Well, it is what it's saying. It's implying what it's saying, people. He's leaving this scenario of this figure, and he's carrying a package. Well, what package is he carrying? Well, when there's an old saying in the hood and on the streets, there's street slang, people. People from the street actually relate to this, and now others actually relate this to as well. Well, he's carrying a package. When AIDS first came out, in the street, what they would say is that a person that were known had the AIDS or the HIV problem, was tested HIV positive, you know what they would say? Oh, he got that package. Or he got that shit. He's carrying the package, meaning that he's got AIDS. Well, people, he's carrying that package to the poor people. So you know what that's stating? That he's going back to a certain individualized group of people to contaminate them. Now, what is this saying with the monk? Well, I'm going to come to that side instead of reaching to the screen. Well, mind you that the monk is down with this guy. So what is that stating? The monk is returning to his clergy group, which is shown almost like a nun figure wearing the same thing as this woman is here, with the head covered, okay, and same thing here with the headpiece, almost like clergy-like figure. Because look, you even see the figure with meaning, like almost like artifacts you see in the church there, okay. You know, he's going back amongst his people, and you know what he's saying? I'm unscathed. My hands are clean. He's got his hands out like this. I don't have anything. I went into that and came out with nothing. Look, meaning that there was a genetic extraction, and this guy has been cleansed of it. What this guy successfully did in a cauldron in a cult-like way. Now, I'm not describing it in the best sense in terms, but I'm sure that I get my point across in what I'm stating. Meaning that in a cauldron cult-like way of genetic manipulation and bridging of mankind's genes, there's a contamination of one group of people and a cleansing of another. Now, let's go back to this image. In the box here, you see that representation of these being prisoners in blood. See the elephant? The elephant is the genetic vessel showing you that there's a cleansing. Notice that the figure on the elephant, pale white. Notice that the figures down here are peoples of color. Look, a lighter version and a darker version. And what is she doing? She's spraying her what? Her genetic cocktail on the people, genetic altering people. That's what this message is all about, and that is what is being described here. Now, I want to show you something else. Now that I know the truth, and as I was going into describing and looking for ceremonial elephants, the artist that created this, it could have not been an original idea. The reason for being is because if you Google ceremonial elephants, there's an image that comes up that is very much similar to this. And it is right here. You see that? Everything that is stated right here in this image is in the backdrop here. So the person that created this took a stolen idea. Now what's good about this is that the identical scenario and what is being shown here and here is almost mirrored here. Now, what's also good about this is that the hidden messages and what is being shown, if you look close, you'll see an eye. You look here, you'll see faces in here, people too, by the way. If you look close here, you'll see, I don't know if you can see that from there, but you'll see teeth, eye. Look, you'll see faces, which is a symbolization of genetics of the beings that actually are being referenced here. But guess what, people? Unbeknown to artists that create this, that the same thing, if you look into the anatomy and the bodies of these individuals in these pictures, will be realized as well too. So this, at this point, tells what genetics are being changed. And then this, at this point, is telling you that those genetics that were changed here and manipulated are now being changed and manipulated here, and it's showing you at what point it's going on. So people, so what I'm telling you about all of this is that this image here, this artwork, as ancient artwork, is showing you from what point that our ancient ape and African ancestors were manipulated here, that calls for the likenesses at this point of these beings. And now they're telling you what they did to change and alter that process. So what I'm telling you is that this is amazing, that there is a trail of artwork which describes in detail from each civilization of people how they genetically became who they are. It's just that simple in a nutshell. It's just that these people took it to an all new height and then changed it into something that is so divine and so, in my mind, deceiving, that it makes me sick. And the stronghold that they have on your minds is bizarre. It's bizarre. But you know what makes me feel good? That through my genuine paranormal experience and encounter, I can take images from 1050, 580 AD, it doesn't make a difference. And I can show you the reality about it all. So when you Google this image, you look at that headband on that elephant, you know, look at the elephant's tusk shown coming out of his cheek cavities over here and there, and then look at how the same tusk dubs as the body, and the body of the elephant dubs as a virgin into the lap of the Pope. Okay, and another thing about that I didn't go into is that we know that, remember those Indian elephants and all of those Cleopatra movies and all of those different movies, on how that band is there. Now check this out. The elephant's tusk, remember coming down the center, the jewels coming down, and this part here coming down. You see this? So on the trunk of the elephant, which this Pope figure is symbolizing, he's the trunk of the elephant. On the trunk of the elephant, you notice that, remember how this part be here and then coming down the trunk? So he's telling you now that he's covenant and all that. So what this guy is doing, he's seated on the trunk, in the area of the trunk of the elephant, telling you now that he's covenant with all of the genetics that is symbolized by this elephant guy behind him. So you take him, remove this Pope figure out. You have the band of the ceremonial elephant, the Asiatic elephant. You have the tusks, the body of the elephant. This is the trunk of the elephant. And then there is the ceremonial wrappings on the trunk of the elephant, if you take him out of the picture. So, people, what in the hell is this even doing symbolize? Hold it. Let me back up a little bit. What type of art? What type of artist? What type of knowledge is this telling you that was suppressed through all out of ancient history? Suppressed knowledge. People, this is knowledge that, where we at here? This is knowledge. Why am I losing? Why am I going out of direction here? Okay. People, this is knowledge that could have saved lives, that could have been given to mainstream scientists. This is knowledge, suppressed knowledge, that could have possibly cured cancer, leprosy, all kinds of diseases that millions and millions of people have died from. Sicknesses, Alzheimer's, which my mother had. So obviously I get mad because this is knowledge that calls for curing. And because sick people like this and kingships and queenships that think that they're doing the better causes for all mankind based on what they're doing just for themselves, the rest of the people must suffer. Scientists with better minds than these people. New and coming innovations, technology, and ideas. Bright-minded people coming to the table. Had this knowledge would have been available to all of the people instead of a select few. The possibilities for the better good of all mankind globally could have benefited in a way that is indescribable. People, when I'm done, when it's said and done, you will have a major problem with this shit. Not just that, but ancient rooted royalty as well. Because people, what I have is real. My name is Gerone Wright. I'm experiencing a genuine experience and encounter. If it references who we genetically are, where we genetically came from, and the true origins of mankind, I will continue to bring you videos like this. Thank you for watching. I appreciate your your views. History, until I came along, is the simple fact that they use the conventional methods, the conventional ideas, and trying to call themselves finding the truth. You just can't do it. Because people, what I am bringing to you in my videos defies science, defies reality, and defies religion. So how can you come to me and ask me to go in a conventional way to find what I bring to you now in these amazing videos when it is all unconventional? You just can't do it. All right. I want to bring you a video here, and I'm wondering why I'm seeing numbers. Looks like 521 there, and over here it appears to be. I did go back, however, to get not one but two GEDs, But I mean, it's just amazing that that I'm at where I'm at now, and based on finds that people have dedicated their entire lives, 40 plus years. I mean, in trying to discover where I'm at now with doing this, and it's just notwithstanding the fact that, you know, there's a lot of ideas out there, there's a lot of theories, and some very interesting stuff, mind you, that is brought up. I mean, in everything across the board, in science, religion, and all that. But you know, all of them are bridges to nowhere. You know, and I'm not, and I'm a very humble individual, but my work is the only work that's available. Hello, everybody. Jerome Wright here again, and once again, you're joining me on my Jerome Wright YouTube channel here on YouTube. You know, in this video, as I begin it, I'm fresh in mind with the thought that in the recent day here, I had a couple people try to direct me in a way to look at other people's materials, referring to geometry and a couple of other things, dealing with other people's works, dealing with areas, dealing with space, that of alignment, celestial alignments with Saturn, and about what different meanings are supposed to be relating to. And you know, I was always first and foremost the person that always stated that, I mean, I was a high school dropout, 10th grade, kicked out of school, and one person said, well, your videos sound unprofessional, and you know, and you should try to see if you can actually try to take it and sprucing them up with a little bit by looking at other people's videos and this, and find you some direction. Now, I have two people told me this now, by the way, and I'm very intelligent people that I do have respect for, and I, you know, again, I'm at where I'm at right now is because of my approach. My uneducated approach to all of this is what keeps my mind open and allows for things to come in. My unconventional approach to all of this is what keeps my mind open and makes me able to bring to you these amazing videos, which I'm going to bring you another amazing video here. The bottom line is that the reason why no one was successful in decoding our ancient anywhere here in our world that is opening up dimensional doorways to reality and showing you what is there in your face and what is there to be understood. And it all is interlinking. My discoveries, if you look at them, I have 200 plus some videos here, and they all, probably 240, I lost count. They all link back to the same thing. And the reason why I am so successful in all of this is because I am having a true, genuine, paranormal experience and encounter. And my approach to my encounter is that everything that I get comes from within, not from someone else, but from within me. You see what I'm saying? So whatever anybody else has established out there and based on their theories and their finds is their material. My material comes from within me and from genuine feelings and directives that I have that comes from within me. You see what I'm saying? So now, then